the volume. An original interview series with Fred, the founder of the AI Jingle Maker. AIJingleMaker.com.
Hello, Andrew. Do you know that you are my first guest in this interview series that I launched via the AI Jingle Maker? How does it feel to be the first one?
I feel an obligation to set the bar as low as possible so everyone after me can excel. That's what I feel.
No, I think you'll be fine. You've got a good microphone. You've got your headsets on.
Thank
you don't have too much feedback from my speaker. It's fine. Nothing. Okay,
Zero.
so we're all good. All good to start. We record this on a Saturday. So are you the kind of person who works during their weekend?
No, I've made it a point in the last, 10, 15 years of my life to make sure I never work weekends anymore because I have no patience for the human race anymore. I've lost all patience for civilization and humanity. So, I just kind of go, yeah, I'm not working the weekends. Well, we need you to. Yeah, well, too bad. I guess you're going to have to fire me then. Bye. I've just become very obstinate about it. I used to work.
You don't
weekends.
Consider this work, radio?
Oh, God,
music and media.
What
is your work? Because I don't know anything about you. We just pretend we're in a bar, even if we are an ocean apart from each other. You're in Canada, I think, or
yes, I am. I'm in Montreal, Canada. The
and
very,
I'm in
very
London.
hot and humid city of Montreal right now, by the way. It's
I just
30 degrees here, so which is down. We got up to 49 degrees earlier in the week, and then 46 degrees, which was insane. That's all with the humidity, right?
Yeah.
So for the Americans or anybody not in the metric world or Celsius world, it's like one day was 117, another day was 115. Now we're in the mid 80s, which is still not pleasant, but better than what it was. So I'll take it. I'll take it as a victory. As for what I do, I spent most of my adult life working in two primary fields: the entertainment and creative world, and as an educator. So right now I'm between positions. A company I work for just sadly didn't survive, and we got laid off at the start of the month in June because they went bankrupt. But that's okay. That's just giving me more time to focus on my hobbies while I figure some stuff out. So it works out well.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been involved in I would say broadly speaking, media/radio space?
I started working in media when I was 17. I'm 56 now. I worked in film and television for many years. I was an actor. I was a stuntman. I worked in casting on the other side of the camera, working for casting, movies, and television. I got into radio. I went to school for radio. I studied radio broadcasting. And then I worked in radio for a while, but sadly, right about maybe a year or so after I got out of radio in the early 2000s, the internet killed it. I mean, radio's dead now. You might have local stations, but they're nothing like what they were. And even when I was working at it, it was nothing like what it was 20 years before. Radio is one of the most beautiful forms of entertainment we have because it requires so little of your attention that you can just have it on. Do what you're going to do all day long, unlike, say, television or the internet, which requires your eyes and requires that focus. So I don't think radio will ever truly go away, but I think the internet has really kind of ruined radio. I don't think the younger kids have any appreciation for what radio is or was, or the importance of it, but they have no appreciation for cursive writing. So really, like at this point in time, asking to appreciate radio is like asking.
It's true. I still remember when I was young and I was just cherishing this little device, the radio, and even you would just go to bed and keep your radio next to you and listen to, some late night program or something like that. So something you don't really experience these days, I guess.
When I was a kid, I used to have this little clock radio. It was my grandmother's that my parents gave me when she got a new one. A piece of garbage. It was 15 years older than me, but it had a clock radio in it. It would wake me up in the morning, which was great. But I would put it on, and one of the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, like our version of the BBC, one of the CBC stations we had would do plays overnight. They would just run these old theater plays on the radio. So I would put that on and fall asleep listening to that, and that would keep me going, and I would sleep through the night, and I'd have the most wonderful dreams as a result because my subconscious was being programmed by the ghost tower of Inverness and all this kind of fun stuff. But it's a different world. Radio has changed. When I went to study radio, was the early 90s. My class was the last class that learned how to edit 4-track reel-to-reel audio. The next year, they were all being taught digital editing. It was like we were the last ones that had the tape and the wax crayon and the splice it and rock the reels to get the right. There it is, and all. It was insane, but it was fun and it was tactile. It was very hands-on. Now I love the digital tools like what you've done, great stuff. Now I'm going to interview you for a little bit because I'm an old radio guy. It's what we do. Your accent is clearly one of the strongest Londonian accents I've ever heard in my life. Where are you from?
I'm from Belgium, actually. I'm not from
Belgium.
London. Nice. Yes. I'm from the other side of the channel. I've been living in London for now 11 years.
Okay, nice. I moved to we have a product we get here at our liquor commission, which is like the alcohol store run by the government, called a meter of beer. And it's a 1 meter long box, and it's all different Belgian beers.
Yes,
it's very fascinating. I understand that the Germans love their beer, the British love their beer, but for the Belgians, it's a point of pride compared to anything else.
And to be fair, I've managed to compare the beer in different countries, and it's not because I'm from Belgium, because I love London. I love a lot of things here. But the Belgian beer is definitely the best. I can tell you.
It's a very specific flavoring. It's a very specific type of beer, and if you're into that type of beer, Belgian beer is amazing.
Yeah, for the heavy beers, what we call, the Trappist beer. I don't know if you know what Trappist here. There are.
I've heard the term.
Six or seven actual Trappist beers. Orval, Chimay, Rochefort. You can look them up on the internet.
Well, I'm lucky. Where I live in Quebec, we have a lot of craft brewers here, and we have a lot of local beers that have become sort of like, when they first started, they were just local things. Now they become sort of brands for the area. And they have such wonderful names. Like when we have Cheval Blanc and stuff like that. But we also have Fin du Monde, which is just an absolutely end of the world. What a name for a beer,
Coming back to... After this beer interlude, I would say, to the music part, I went to your YouTube channel, and from what I understand, you've gone quite deep into the AI space. You're using AI to create songs.
Yep. Like I like to say, Zeg Radio hits of 1970X, 80X, 90X, Gen X. Basically, I can't really stand modern music. I think most of it, I haven't been into music for a good, I'd say easily the last 15 years of music has just been garbage, just absolute garbage. I Taylor Swift, I can proudly say I have never knowingly heard a Taylor Swift song, and I never will if I can avoid it. So
you came to AI, which is quite an interesting move, because you got fed up with the current state of music and you wanted to revisit music in your own terms. In a way.
Well, yeah, yes and no. So basically what had happened was I do, as you can tell from all the books, I do a lot of role-playing Dungeons and Dragons type stuff for the layman. And and I do it on one of my YouTube channels. We stream live, and someone was a fan, sent me a link for a song about the characters in this one game we played, and it was beautiful. And I said, "Wow, did you create this yourself?" He goes, "Well, sort of. I use this thing called Suno." And I went, well, "What's this?" Sent me the link. I looked into it. I went, "Oh, it's fun." I played around, made a couple of songs. And then it was cute. And then my buddies were like, "Hey, man, you should do more stuff about the stuff you write about." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I got into that, and I decided something, and I made some choices. And then I realized I really prefer 80s, 70s, and 90s music. Sorry, one of my cats is debating whether he wants to jump up on my chest. And so I started making my own stuff. And at first it was just cute stuff based on the idea of if superheroes existed in the world, they would affect pop culture. We would see it in fashion. We would see it in music. We would see it in all these. So I started doing that. But then slowly these bands started to become people. And I started creating more songs that weren't about superheroes and just like stuff the bands would create. And I started recreating basically the kind of music I used to listen to that I love from the 80s, specifically, but as new stuff. And then basically a lot of my subscribers who had heard the songs were like, "You should do shows with these because they're really good." And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't have the equipment anymore to do all the stingers and I don't have it. I don't." And then I found your page by accident. I can't remember how I found it. It was just like I tripped over it. I'm like, "What is this?" So I looked into it. oh, this is actually helpful. This is I can make stingers without having to go into audio production and do a whole thing and lay it out and record voice. Oh, let me test this out and see what I can do.
Z Radio.
And now the station is very sporadic. I do shows only when I'm in the mood. And I release new music once I get inspired and I make some, and I think it's worth releasing. I mean, I've done over 1,000 songs at this point.
Okay, so it's not a 2027 radio stream. It's you record your shows and then you put them out. Okay.
I do them live.
Oh, you do them live.
I do them live with a live
on
audience.
YouTube? Okay, cool.
On YouTube, yeah, using OBS, and I run on Mac, and I got this little application called Podcast Soundboard, which lets me make the jingles and the stingers and all that using your site of all things, and then some Audacity to sort of put them to where I want them to be a little bit more for the editing, and then I can punch them up almost like I have a soundboard beside me, so I can hit my stingers, and I use a simple Apple Music interface to play my songs, and it's really fun, and I have a lot of fun doing it. It's radio on my terms. It's radio only in the sense that it is a voice and no face and music. It's not broadcast on a FM frequency or anything like that. And because I can't use copywritten music, because the music industry remains the most evil thing that has ever existed on this planet next to the fashion industry, I have to do my own. And I'm okay with that, which brings me back to the concept of AI. I am not a Luddite. I am not a what we call antis now, these anti-AI people who are absolutely absurd. They become a cult. Their mentality and their logic is absurd. They sit there on Facebook and Reddit and Twitter and all these other apps that are running massive data centers complaining that AI is destroying the environment. It's just like, what?
Yeah. What? Indeed, they're running on the same rails, basically.
Yeah, and they're bigger. They're running bigger. Yeah. They're running bigger buses on those rails or bigger trains. It's like the guys who go to climate change conferences in private jets and tell you need to recycle. It's like what? No. So I fully embrace the AI stuff. I understand that technology is not our enemy. It needs to be our friend, and we need to embrace it as such and work with it. It's a tool. It is not a replacement. If you didn't have me creating the idea and creating the song and putting the lyrics together and doing all the things I do, well, it's not going to do it on its own. It's not going to make its own stuff that's going to be interesting. It still needs the human touch. It still needs the human input.
It's a tool for creativity, and
exactly.
And it doesn't prevent you from going to see a band live if you still love some bands.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So for me, it's a big thing, and your tool was a massive help. Without your tool, I probably wouldn't have done what I've done, because I would have been so hesitant to put that much work into the back end for something I make no money on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just will be a nightmare.
And have you considered using a low cost system to just broadcast it, because you've got 1,000 songs on a permanent basis? There are some
I've
that
thought
are
about it.
Some are cheap.
Yeah.
I've been using one. What is the one I'm using? Oh, by the way, I have to check it for my demo CMF radio. Oh yeah, it's called Yes Streaming. I think it's using Azure Cast in the back end. It's an open source system, Azure Cast, but running on Yes Streaming. I think I pay $40 a year or something like that, which is quite cheap for that sort of things. And it's 24/7. It's also AI. My own demo is also AI. If you go to cmfradio.com, the stream there is full AI. So there are no, as you said, copyright licenses involved. It's also in an app, also on App Store and Google Play. But yes, streaming, it's cheap. I mean, of course, it's still $40, but it's less than some of the services that would ask you $50 a month for broadcast.
The same idea, yeah. Is it commercial free and all that?
Yeah. You can you just use their service. So as I said, in the back end, it's using Azure Cast for the for the user interface for the platform that you're using. You're just uploading your songs. You're uploading your jingles. You can create playlists and all of that. You don't even need a separate website because they give you a player. But if you have any if you're using any platform to create a website, you just put the player on the website, or you share the link.
I don't currently host a website, but I'll look into it as a possibility down the road for sure. Maybe something interesting, just be able to put the library up and let it play if it can be.
That's cool. I mean, if you're 1,000 songs, it makes sense, and then you can say, okay, every 2 songs, every 3 songs, I want to play from this playlist my jingles. Actually, when I created it, it was just a demo for the Jingle Maker, because I used to have a radio station during COVID, when everyone was trying to find something to do during COVID. I launched this thing called CMF Radio in London, where I interviewed a lot of people, musicians, actors, other people, friends also, during COVID. I still had the domain. Then I did all sorts of things with that domain, and it came back to being a demo site for the Jingle Maker. And also, maybe you saw for this other service I launched, it's called a Radio Site Maker. It's basically to create a website for your radio station.
Oh, nice.
So it's called radiositemaker.com, and there you can create a website and connect your stream if you bring your stream from Yes Streaming or from another place. But you can also use just Yes Streaming if you just want to get the stream out on a basic website. No, just saying, because you 1,000 songs makes sense. So
it might be something I'll look into once I have a website. If I get into the point where I want to actually pay for a website and a domain and all that fun stuff, because that's the exhausting part. I had one, and you're just paying money for something that most people are ignoring. Whereas YouTube are getting immediate direct, immediate interaction, as opposed to a web page where it's just so. Am I getting results? I don't know. I'm paying money for this. YouTube costs me nothing. Much easier.
That's true.
I'll look into this. It could be a possibility, because I know a lot of people have asked me to create a stream for YouTube where I can just have an endless stream of music
and the stream on YouTube.
And I have been trying to figure out how to do that, and it's I haven't really put enough effort into it. I'll have to now, but maybe this might be a solution. I don't know if they offer YouTube streaming, but interesting.
Yeah. And besides that, what are the other use cases for you as far as AI is concerned? Are you using it to write stuff, to research stuff?
So I am severely dyslexic, and I'm also what they call a diagonal reader. I don't know if you know what a diagonal reader is, but that's
you read fast.
You read fast, and you read on an angle looking for
you skim the stuff.
You skim. It's a bad habit I developed as a young person to deal with dyslexia, and as a result, I write. I'm very creative. I'm very descriptive, but it's a very big chore to write. It literally basically breaks my brain. So what I do is I use Claude, and I fed Claude a bunch of my writing and said, this is my voice. Remember this voice. And it does. And then I use it to write now. And I go, okay, so this is what we're going to talk about. It's going to be this, 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 and this. I want to cover these points, blah, 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 boom. And it gives it to me. And then I do a very tedious review because it takes so long to do. And I go, okay, fix that, change this, do that. And it works very well. And I've had great success with it. I have no issues with AI. As a writer, I have friends who are artists and musicians who have all decried AI. Oh, it's stealing our art. It's stealing our music, but they have no problem using it to write. And it's like, what? We don't count. Writers don't count. We're just only use special performative artists are the ones who we have to all be worried about and treat like purse puppies. The rest of us all. Anyone can write. But that's something I read years and years and years ago. Long before AI, there was this article I read where it was a guy talking about how we cherish visual and audio artists because we see the skill they have and go, oh, but we don't cherish writers because we go, well, I write emails every day. I write this, I write that. Well, yeah. All right, now sit down and write something interesting.
I mean,
go write something interesting.
That way.
Go write a story.
I always cherished writers, to be fair.
Exactly, but that's a European mentality. See, I'm talking about North American mentality. And North American mentality is a very, very different beast, right? I used to love the fact that the Irish put writers on their money instead of politicians. I always thought that was a great idea. So we don't have that culture here, that love of the writer. So I always found it so hypocritical of them to be like, oh, I can't believe you're using AI to make music, or I can't believe you're using AI to make art. You're using AI every day to write your crap. How is it any different? It's the exact same thing. Where do you think it learned how to do that? By reading every writer that ever lived. How did it learn to do the music? By listening to every piece of recorded music that ever was. How to do the art? By scanning every artist that ever was. So it's the same mentality. It's just it scares them because most of us who are writing don't make money off of writing. We do it because we love writing. Whereas they are doing little hedge businesses with their music or with their art. And now that they're seeing themselves being replaced, they're freaking out. And it's so asinine, if I may use a slightly hard word. It is so backwards, and it is so just, it's like photography is not an art. All you do is press a button. That was what they said about photography once upon a time. Now photography is art. It's the same mentality. It's the throwing the wooden shoes into the machine. It's I'm scared of technology is happening whether you like it or not, baby. You can scream and rant and yell and chant and protest, but the technology is going to keep trucking right along because that's what technology does.
And how are the people that you met at work when you were still working a few weeks ago? How were they reacting to AI? The younger people, the older people. What was their reaction there in Canada?
It depends, right? It's really going to be a generational thing. I've discovered the younger generation is very anti-AI because they've been taught to be. And look, I don't want to get too far into the politics of it all because it gets very weird. But there's a generation of millennials and Zoomers right now who are desperate for identity and meaning in their lives. So they wind up signing on to these causes, getting really, really vehement about the cause until the cause loses cachet in the public eye, and then they move on to the next cause. So, 6 years ago, we all had to put black squares in our profiles because that was the cause du jour. Now AI is anti-AI is the cause du jour because it's drinking all the water. The thing that kills me is the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding of how water works. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, in their head, water is destroyed and doesn't exist anymore. They have no idea about the concepts of evaporation, hydrocycles, aquifers, all these things. They have no idea how any of that works. Just, you used water to cool your computers. That water is now destroyed forever.
That's a good point.
Sewage treatment does more damage to your water supply than this does. The cotton industry, making your fancy little Levi's 501 blue jeans, does more damage to the water than this does. The almond farming businesses in California use more fresh water and contaminate it than these data centers do. Stop. Just learn. We're in such a reactionary point in human history. We are at such a point of no one reads the article, they only read the headline, and they never do any independent research anymore. So they just believe what they're fed. And then as a result, they regurgitate this garbage.
So maybe they could use AI to research deeper the facts behind the headlines. Could be a good use case for AI.
Might be helpful. They certainly loved using Siri a few years ago for that. That's also why I've been loving the World Cup thing, seeing all these TikToks of all the Europeans who've come to America, because Canada, we're not representing well right now. Our people are being quite arrogant and snotty, which is really sort of a sad point of the Canadian behavior. But looking at them talking about Americans, and they're just going on about how friendly and warm and inviting and helpful. It's like, this is nothing like we're taught on the TV about America. Learn from this. Learn that the media. I worked in radio for years, news radio specifically, and I remember. Do you remember SARS? Remember SARS? Something. It was like the breathing disease from the Middle East.
It was another virus.
And everyone was freaking out. SARS was going to be the end of the world. Whatever. I walk into work one day at the radio station, and the production manager is my friend Betsy, and she goes, "Come here," and she pulls me into the booth. And she plays me this demo, and it's ominous music, and then the announcer's voice: SARS, a disease no one understands. Many people have it. Some have died. What is it? All this week we'll be doing an in-depth investigation on SARS. And I laughed, and I went, because it was Jim, our program director. I went, "Did you and Jim do this on the weekend for a gag?" She goes, "No, that started airing this morning." And that was a big, big thing. I was working the day 9/11. I was at the station as it was happening live, and just listening to the people talk all day long. And I learned valuably, don't trust the news. Don't. The expression, if it bleeds, it leads, is a very true thing. No one tunes in to hear about a happy person who pet a cat. They tune in to hear about the bad person who ate the cat. That's what they want to hear. So we're never going to play you the story about the happy person who pet a cat. We're never going to play you the story about the guy sitting in his garden who realized that all things in the universe are interconnected and we are all made of stardust and at one we are all the same thing and therefore should just be nicer to each other. No, we're going to play you the story about the girl getting murdered on the commuter train. We're going to play you the story about the bank robbers. And then, oh, here's a squirrel, water skiing in a pool. Tee-hee.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's so true. Now when you open Netflix or open, Amazon TV or whichever, tool you're using, and it's only true crime. Sometimes I just want to watch a cheesy romance movie.
Yeah.
Just to be in a good mood,
Yeah.
Even if the plot is so simple and so predictable or whatever, but at least it's a good rom-com.
Well, all my friends
probably
ask me why I want to watch.
We would need more media, more positive media. I think there was an initiative 10 or 15 years ago. Someone on the internet, I don't remember the name of their website, but they tried to use the codes of clickbait, but to direct you to, I would say, good causes or positive news or nice stuff. Which was a good move. I mean, strategically, it was a smart move to try to use the tricks to try to redirect you to positive news. But you don't see that much, to be fair.
We live in a world where we now have the absolute democratization of creativity between AI music, AI imaging, AI videos, AI writing. AI is allowing people to make movies in their bedrooms, literally, that look great. Make music that sounds just as good as anything out there on the radio. And you always see the musicians going, well, I can tell it's AI. Well, good for you, because the other 800 listeners don't care. They just heard a good song that made their feet tap, right? Or they looked at an image and they went, that was a really inspiring image. So they use this term. They say AI slop, AI slop, AI slop. Oh, that's great. I worked in the film industry for over 20 years. I can show you all the human-made slop that I was involved with. I can show you all the garbage that was just designed to make a buck. You know what I mean? So this idea that AI is somehow ruining everything, it isn't. And the reason why you see all these people pushing against it is because the old media is terrified of it. They are terrified of this thing, just like they were terrified of Napster. And now all music is digital. They're terrified of the things they don't understand.
They're losing control in a way.
Yes, they're losing control. So now, if we want
not the gatekeepers anymore.
And you know what? They used to say gatekeepers were a good thing, and I used to believe them. But the older I get, the more I realize is the hell with your gatekeepers. Let the barbarians in. They might do something interesting and worth looking at. You know what I mean? Like, at least that's the difference for me. I have a friend of mine. He does a ton of AI art. Like every day, there's like 15 new things he's posting. They're all funny or interesting or creative or him experiencing or trying to develop a skill of what he wants something to look like. It's really neat. There are friends of mine who are publishing comics right now using AI that would never have been able to afford to hire an artist to produce this. So what? They shouldn't be allowed to do it because they can't afford it? Well, that's what's happening.
I would argue the final judgment is does it create or not an emotion on the side of the reader, on the side of the person enjoying the art. If there's emotion,
even if it's a negative emotion, even if it's a negative, even if it's your hate, that's an emotion that's art that produced a reaction in you. So do you know who Rick Beato is? He's a YouTuber. He's a music YouTuber, old school music guy. He ran an article or a video about a month or so ago where he said the problem with the music industry today is that only the rich are allowed to make music. When he was a young man playing in bands, he was living in New York. He worked in a restaurant, which allowed him to pay his rent and be able to put his share in for the studio space he and the other guys were renting to practice their music. You can't do that anymore. No one can work in a restaurant and make enough money to live and rent music space and be in a band on weekends and do all these things that led to some of the greatest music humanity has ever heard. So now only the rich kids get to do it. So this is the same mentality with the AI art. Well, you should pay an artist. Well, I can't afford to pay an artist. Well, then you don't deserve to create. Excuse me? So that should be locked behind the paywall of the elite? Am I allowed to swear, or do you prefer PG-13?
Yeah, no, I think it's okay. I mean, it
Right.
would probably be also broadcast on YouTube. So I don't know if YouTube has AI filters.
What the frick are you thinking about, right? Like, that's the point. It's crazy. I don't want to live in a world where only Nepo babies get to produce the art that we consume. I don't want to live in a world where the only music I hear on the radio or on TV or in the shopping mall is garbage produced by rich kids who never had to live life and therefore have no experiences to draw them. Look at TV and movies for the most part these days. The majority of your writers, especially in sci-fi, have come straight out of college and gone right into writers' rooms. They've done nothing. They've lived nothing. You go watch the original Star Trek or all that great 70s, 60s, and 70s sci-fi that we saw, and even a lot of the 80s stuff. A lot of those writers were World War II vets, Korean War vets, Vietnam vets, or they'd been in the Merchant Marine, or they'd been in the Peace Corps. They had done something with their life that gave them experiences and insight into humanity before they started writing.
Yeah.
So
but I think that a real creative person today, using the tools that they have like AI to create a movie, could be far more creative than the algorithmic formulaic things that you see on Netflix.
You mean the actual slop?
Yeah, because
human-made garbage.
The slop is the thing that is served by the studios.
Yes,
because they have to spend so much money. They have to basically research all the tropes, the stereotypes, everything to put them into the movies so that they can try to fit what the market is expecting, far more than someone who would be creative without any constraints, basically.
Well, you got that kid, the YouTube guy who just made that movie Obsession, I think it's called. And, all the Hollywood studio stuff is failing, but this YouTuber who made this little simple, cheap film about a relationship that's a horror film, he's blown up. He's making hundreds of $millions at the box office. People are going to see it because it's something different. It's something new. It's something real.
Something
it's
fresh.
Not just it's fresh. It's not just and it's not fresh. It's the stories as old as humanity.
Fresh in the sense that,
but fresh in the zeitgeist we are in. It's absolutely fresh because it's real. It's human. I saw the Gore Verbinski. I can't remember that guy's name. Gore Verbinski. His new movie. Good Luck, Don't Die, Have Fun, or Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, whatever, which on paper should have been an amazing film. It should have been amazing. I watched it, and when it was over, my friend said, well, how was it? I said, it was there. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just there. And that's the problem with a lot of our media right now. It's just there, be it music, be it
I even went to see, I think it was last week, Disclosure Day of Steven Spielberg.
Oh, how was it? I did not hear good things.
It was so bad, to be fair.
Yeah,
it was really bad. I mean, I was just asking, when does it start? Never really start. And the storyline, there was some good filming of the chase.
Sure.
Stuff with the train and all of that, but I mean something like E.T. or something like
I'll tell you
old movies of Spielberg.
My buddy asked me. My buddy said, "You want to go see Disclosure Day?" And I said, "How about this as a counterpoint? Why don't we just order Thai food and rewatch Close Encounters of the Third Kind?"
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah, all right." And we did that, and we're like, "God, what a good film! Like, what a good film! Enjoyable film." I don't. This modern stuff is, and I know I'm 56. I'm an old man waving at clouds in the sky. Oh, you kids today with your crazy! But
it's not even that, because as you said, you just you mentioned a movie fresh created by some young guy, so
exactly.
It can happen. Probably the executives at Netflix are older than that guy, so it's not a matter of being old or being young. It's just
being not creative. Like I said, I worked in the film industry for over 2 decades, and I really only understood it when I worked in casting. Once I worked in the casting side of things, I got to see how producers behave, and I got to listen to their conversations, and I was just like, it's an industry of idiots. It's an absolute industry of idiots who are so self-assured that they are right until they get bit on the ass. And then they go, oh, I guess I wasn't right anymore. But then they have to change gear and go, well, the times have changed. People don't want that anymore. No, people don't want you anymore, Bubba. Nobody wants you anymore. They want something fresh. They want someone with a new perspective. There's a fantastic film I recommend everybody watch who's a bit of a cinephile called The Kid Stays in the Picture. And it's a documentary. I will tell you nothing more about it. I will just say, watch it. And when it's over, you will realize this is how the film industry has always been. It's not a modern manifestation. It is since time immemorial. From the minute the Warner Brothers set up their first studio in Los Angeles, the film industry has been like this. Uncreative people with money making decisions that affect creative people.
But at some point, as we say, I mean, there was this Close Encounter of the Third Kind. There was E.T. There were, Indiana Jones, the Star Wars franchise, and all of that. So at some point, the directors maybe and the creatives had more power in the relationship.
It's really funny. It's not that they had more power; they were creatives. So whenever they were met with restriction, they had to find creative solutions. Mm-hmm. So let's take Jaws, the movie that made Spielberg. He wanted to have you see the shark, frame one. The first day of shooting, they put the mechanical shark in the water. It short-circuited and sunk to the bottom of the water. Mm-hmm. The guys that were going to fix it said, it's going to take us 2-3 weeks to fix this. It's not a short fix. We got to order these parts and this and that. And he's like, well, I got a movie to shoot. So he had to get creative. So he did the point of view of the shark. Mm-hmm. He did the fin of the shark. So he built the oldest form of storytelling. He built the suspense, and we made the shark in our head watching the movie. We made the shark scarier from what we didn't see, from what we weren't allowed to see. Our minds filled in, and our minds are always way better than anything you put on film. So by the time in the third act, when we finally see the shark, we don't care because the shark's the biggest monster in the universe for us, right? We already did that. Once CGI came in, they stopped doing that. They stopped building the suspense. They stopped building the let you, the audience, build the monster yourself and then show you the monster.
You could show the monster, yeah.
Right away. So there's a movie called Jeepers Creepers. It's a horror film. And the monster in that film is whatever. But the problem is that it wasn't supposed to show up till the third act. We were never supposed to see the monster till the third act. But the director saw the costume, fell in love with it, and put it in the first act. And as a result, all the mystery's gone, all the suspense is gone. It's just shock, 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 shock. Well, you can't keep shocking the audience for long because they will become numb to it. Yeah. And then they will no longer function. They'll be prepared for it, right? You see kids today, they watch The Exorcist and they go, well, it wasn't scary. It was scary as hell in the 70s because we had never been shocked to the point of being numb to it the way they are now, right? They've had so much imagery and just everything thrown at them. They're hard to shock. They're hard to scare. That's why everything's jump scares now, because you can always get a reaction with a jump scare because humans react. That's just our fight or flight nature kicking in.
And that's probably also, coming back to what brought us today here.
Yeah.
The radio. That's probably also why we loved so much and we still love radio, because it's you don't have all that all that arsenal of images and CGI and all of that. You've got the voices, you've got the songs, you've got the imaging between the songs, and you've got the creativity of how you put them together, and that's your tools to create some emotions, basically.
Well, yeah, because your mind's going to do the work at that point in time. Your mind does the heavy lifting. When I was in radio school, they always told us this thing. It was really funny. They said, no matter how good looking you are, you don't look like what your audience thinks you look like, and they're always going to be disappointed with you. Yeah. And I always love that. So no matter how good looking you are,
you've got a good face for radio or something.
Well, that's the joke, right? You have a face for radio and a voice for print. Yeah. That's the old joke, right? But that's true. Like you never look like what people think you look like when they only hear your voice, because we build up it in our head. We create our own thing. Now the Buggles told us that video killed the radio star, and they weren't wrong. As much as I'm an 80s kid and I love my music videos and I loved my MTV, and in Canada we had a channel called Much Music, which was just all videos. I love that stuff. I understand the damage that did to the music industry. I understand the damage that did to the creativity. But you can't put toothpaste back in the tube, right? You can't put the genie back in the bottle. So we have to move forward. But the nice part about all these tools we have, Suno for making songs and Jingle Maker for making good little stingers and stuff like that. And 11 Labs if you want to go do cool dialogue voices and all this kind. You can use all of these tools. And yeah, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but you can start a whole new tube and give it to them in that way. And then you'll be surprised.
Create your own soundscapes. It's easier than what it used to be. Like a few years ago, you would have needed a lot of budget to create a proper soundscape. Whereas now, you can definitely afford it. I watched some other guy on YouTube a few days ago. I think he's calling himself the Radio Dude or something like that. He's also creating his own jingles with Suno, and he was chatting with someone, and they were just saying that, you know, the old point of creating a radio station on the web today, it is not to just play music, because you can hear music on Spotify, you can hear music on Apple Music. It's to create an experience.
Yes,
it's to create your own soundscape, to bring in stories, stingers, jingles, and other forms of audio entertainment, and create that very special place on the web that people can enjoy as a packaged product in a way. Which is different than just songs in a row.
I released an album. There are 2 albums that I released that blew up. I had no idea they were going to blow up at all. One was by, I decided to make a Native American rock band, right? And I called them Blackbird. And the album, I put up the full album as one video. And as of today, it has 15,000 views. And most of the views were Russia and parts of Eastern Europe. And they loved it. They lost their minds for it. And then I did another one later. It was in the concept album called Black Madonna. And it was the idea of doing a female metal band, but singing about blasphemous things. That one's almost at 17,000 views. And there are 50 comments on that video, which is an album. It's like an hour and a half of music, right? And like the comments, they started to scare me after a while. There are people coming in hailing Lilith, and I'm like, okay, apparently I've tapped into a little pagan group here. But the point is, that's, like you would, 10 years ago, I could never have done that.
No.
I couldn't have afforded to make the band, to record the music, to then put on the internet.
Yeah, it would have cost thousands just for some untalented people, I would say.
Yeah, but instead I got to get my vision out on this one and have fun with it. So I am very supportive of creative arts. And I need to remind everybody again listening, ignore the term AI slop, because there is human slop.
No, slop is everywhere where people generate stuff without the purpose of creating emotions. That's when you get true slop.
Very true. Very realistic slop at that point in time. Very much the definition of slop. And you know what? If your friend is having fun making AI art or making AI music or making AI videos, shut up and leave them alone. Let them have their fun. They're not hurting anyone, despite what you think.
And create your own thing, and try also to get people to like your creations and share it. Because at the end of the day, music is one of the ways to express yourself. Radio is obviously a way to express yourself and create some community. So that's the whole point. It doesn't matter if you're using AI or if you're using I don't know,
a can,
a drum kit, a stick on your table or whatever.
Exactly, it doesn't matter. I sign off every show with the same sign off, which is this: music is the glue that holds the world together. And we need that more than ever. And that's why people always said, what kind of music are you into? And they hate my answer. Because when they say, what kind of music are you into? I always say, good music. Yeah, but you prefer rap, you prefer metal, you prefer, I don't know, there's some good rap songs, there's some good metal songs, there's some good hip hop, there's some good dance, there's some good folk, there's some good country, there's some good jazz. There's no one type of music that everything in it makes me go, yeah. No. There's garbage in there is one album in the history of music that I can listen to the entire album, and even then there's a bit of a lull in the back half for me, and that's Misplaced Childhood by Marillion. But it was done as a concept album. The entire album was made as one album, right? Otherwise, every band I love has songs I don't like.
Yeah.
That's okay. Someone else likes those songs, and that's okay too, man. Like, we just got to stop being so tribal. Ugh, if we could just get out of the tribal mentality. Who do you prefer, Marvel or DC? Can't I like both? Why do I have to pick one? We like Star Trek or Star Wars? Can I like both? Why do I have to pick one? Coke or Pepsi? Depends on my mood. Leave me alone. Why do I always have to pick a side in everything? You know, like, it's so.
Yeah. Or today, are you pro or anti AI? I mean, you can be pro AI if you use it properly, and anti AI if it's not used in a good way. I mean,
or you could be my old aunt Enid, who's a clay artist. She works in porcelain, and she doesn't care. AI doesn't exist in her mind. She doesn't worry about it.
Yeah, there's also a bubble around AI. I think there's a lot of people shouting around AI.
It's a closed loop.
Yeah, definitely they should see that there's a world outside of the world of AI.
Yeah, touch grass becomes a very important statement for them. Or, as my American friends like to say, is y'all need to get yourself to Jesus. It's like, yeah, you need to do that because you're kind of down in the weeds a little too far here, Bubba. Bring your head up, get some air, see some sun.
We have a few minutes left. Sure. What are your radio or entertainment or music projects for the next few months?
Well, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to keep doing for the music and the radio, because that's what the purpose of this is I'm going to keep doing what I do. I gotta dock up some credits on your system so I can make some more jingles, because people are getting sick of my old jingles. Now I need to make new ones. I give
you a free.
I want to pay you, man. You provide a service. Okay, everybody listening to this right now.
That's a good moment. That's a good moment to say that. I always say to people, when you go into a pizza joint, do you expect to get the pizza for free?
No. Support the people who do the things you like. Stop spending money on Disney and Warner Brothers and Paramount, and spend it on the people making the stuff that you enjoy. This guy's jingle program, if you have checked it out and you're not sure, I can tell you as someone who's not spent a lot of money but has spent some money on it, it's worth it. The shekels you're going to give him are worth it. As opposed to, I'm going to go buy the latest Hello Kitty handbag. Forget that. Support the people you like. It's great stuff. So I'm going to make some more music. I'm going to keep going. The last album I just made was by a band. I call them the Sidekicks, and it's basically, they're kind of like my Veruca Salt at the end of the day, and just like angry girl music. But it came out really well. If you haven't checked out my channel, guys, if you put the link, it's at Zeg Radio, ZEG. Basically, come check it out. We do every now and then when I do an album, we get a panel together of 3 or 4 guys, and we do a live music reaction where we listen to each track of the album, and then they talk about what they think it was like, and it's a really fun thing. There's full albums up there. There's all the back catalog of the radio shows. We used to do a top 50 show. We don't anymore because I just don't have time for that anymore. But maybe I'll bring back a monthly top 10 or something. But I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I'm old now. I don't want to do new exciting things. I want to keep doing the things that make me happy. That's what I want.
So Zeg Radio, ZEG Radio on YouTube. That's where we will find you. And thanks again for your support for the AI Jingle Maker.
Dude, it was a godsend. It was a godsend, Frederick. I found it at exactly the right moment I needed it, so it was perfect, man.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.